Welcome everyone to It's Vinylly Mine's Vinyl Countdown, counting down the last days of 2022. We've got 3 left, and this is our third last one today, and I'm very excited. Can you tell I'm giddy? I love the Terminator, the first 2 films for sure, and love the music from them. And Brad Fiedel, the Terminator, is a great score, and I can't wait to check out this vinyl that I picked up that they did a release of, I think it was April 12th of 2022, so just this past year. It's part of that Nicholas Winding Refn Presents, kind of like similar to what we had for the RoboCop release. Now, Brad Fiedel, really, this is a synth score, if you're ever familiar with the Terminator, and I think it really is appropriate. Now, this was mixed and mastered from the original tapes by Brad himself in his studio, so this is going to sound awesome. So enough of me babbling and gushing. Let's drop the needle and take a look at this release of this special soundtrack. All right, so Backblade is here and ready to help us crack this plastic. Check this out. It's a pressed on translucent clear with pink, blue, and black splatter vinyl. Oh my lord, can't wait to see that. Now, let's get this plastic off and take a look at this beautiful, look at that. T800i. I love this color. Very straightforward, almost, computer-like. I always loved this font, and it just stands out for me. And this cover just, it gives me chills just thinking about it because, the Cyborg is a very scary individual, and it's such a wonderful practical effects in this film. And the music, being synth, fits the fact that you have your main antagonist being a cyborg. So here we have the Terminator title in the middle here with original music by Nicholas Winding Refn logo at the top. And yeah, just a wonderful picture of that eye. As far as the spine goes, yeah, it's readable. You can see that, at least the title of it goes. And then on the back, check this out. Little dark, but yeah, the hand with the little mini human skull in its finger. I love that. Oh, that's such just really embodying the bad guy, Arnold's bad guy in this first one. And then we have the title tracks on the side here. Some of my favorite tracks. I've listened to the soundtrack many times, so I can't wait to hear the difference that this sounds like. But we've got 2 discs in this release, side A, B, and then side C and side D, those final 2 tracks there. Oh man, I love them. But I'll get back to what my favorite piece from this soundtrack is, and it might surprise you. And then we have here for the credits for the vinyl production itself. So yeah, I can't wait. Now let's check the look at, oh wow. That is amazing. That is amazing artwork. Look at that. And yes, before anybody gets technical, yes, we know that it should just show Arnold, but the fact that this artwork, this interpretation, is showing the T800 below that skin with the electricity, just, oh wow, I love it. I love that. That'd be an awesome, one-sheet poster. So now let's take a look at the one vinyl and see what that looks like. Oh, so excited here. Sorry, folks. Oh, look at this splatter pattern. That splatter pattern is wonderful. And there's the logo there with the track listing. Nice artwork there. Good solid label. And we've got the track listing on both sides for once. So I'm so used to having artwork on one side and the track listing on the other. But yeah, that looks wonderful. Can't wait to hear what that sounds like. And then let's see if there's any difference with the second disc that we have here, which it is, actually. The artwork on this label is slightly different. And there you are there, side C, and then side D, though, just 2 tracks. Very excited for that. 2 tracks with the final suite and the Terminator theme extended version. So Yeah, very excited to listen to one of my all-time favorite soundtracks finally on vinyl. It looks like a respectable vinyl, but we'll see how well this pressing is, and we will come back and talk about my favorite track to this soundtrack. So stay tuned. Hey everyone, you looking for even more content as well as want to have a say in what we review here on It's Finally Mine? Then head on over to our Patreon page, patreon.com/specialmarkproductions, where you can join one of our 3 tiers and get access to exclusive content, VIP episodes, and more. Plus take a monthly poll to decide what we review here on It's Finally Mine. Join one of our 3 very affordable tiers and have your voice heard. We look forward to seeing you there so we can do more here. And we are back, everyone, from listening to this perfect pressing. I don't think I've ever heard these tracks this clear, or a vinyl that has had. There's very few vinyls that are so. There's no hiss in between tracks. There's no nut. It is a perfect. Oh my god! It sounds wonderful. Every track stands out. It was like experiencing it for the first time all over again. And yeah, I loved this pressing. Now, before we get into my favorite track or tracks on this, I do want to compare this to the other releases because lo and behold, I do have a couple other releases here. I have the original Terminator release here. Yes, this was the original release that they did of the film soundtrack. This one only has the 6 tracks on it that are instrumental, and then it has those wonderful vocal tracks. Which, out of all of these releases, this is the only one I have that actually has the vocal tracks on it as well. So this one here has some of the vocal tracks from that movie, from the movie, and 6 tracks from the score. And so for the longest time, this is what we had to deal with. But it still came with a wonderful CD book and liner notes there at the description of the film. And yeah, I love it. I love it when this. I got this release. Now this was from '91. This is on CD because originally Terminator came out in '84. So this was the first CD I got that I remember being released, and then the definitive collection came out, and yep, I picked that one up as well. And this one is just the score tracks. And this CD was supervised by Brad as well. And this here gives a little bit of a story of the tracks in that, which I love that this has those liner notes. Now, we don't have that with this record release, which is surprising, but I do have it in here. So if I ever want to read about the tidbits of that, it's on this definitive collection here with previously unreleased material, and there's 19 tracks here. So I thought that was interesting. Now, there's not quite as many tracks here, but they combined some more tracks here. So I believe all the music that's on this one is also on this one, or nearly all of it. So as far as this vinyl release goes, it's still definitely worth it. I mean, not only are the tracks clean and do they sound more organic and sound better than on either one of these 2 CDs, but yeah, it's such a solid soundtrack, and an interesting contrast between these soundtracks, between this one, which is a little bit more subdued. It's a little more ominous, atmospheric, creepy, scary, because the first Terminator was far more of a horror type film. Some people, there's debate on it, but I would say it's more of a horror film than Terminator 2, which Brad still brings this forward, but that soundtrack is very full and more bombastic and more just driving. And this one, while it does have those elements, is definitely more subdued with his more synth score, which there was synth in Terminator 2 as well, but I digress. Sorry, just excited. You can tell I'm a big Terminator fan, and if I do get some of these facts mixed up, I do apologize. But what I will say is my favorite tracks of all of these, I mean, I do love the main track. Don't get me wrong. The Terminator theme extended version on here is fantastic, and this final end credits final suite on here is a wonderful, just tension building and coming to that climax, and I also always like Search for Sarah on here. That's about the only time you hear that little sound bit in there, which is completely different from everything else. It's a more kind of a happier tone, very fitting for when we first see her character. And so I do love the search for Sarah. And then the piano comes back for the love scene. The love scene music for me is probably my favorite track off this soundtrack. It's got some other instruments in it, but the main instrument is the piano and the way it comes through and the way it's played. There is so much emotion that is in the love scene track. It was very fitting for the scene of the film that it was in. But I've always loved how that track played out. And it's then followed by the tunnel chase, which is one of the more kinetic tracks of this film. So, yeah, there you have it, folks. This soundtrack, regardless of what version you get, is solid. But definitely, if you're a vinyl fan and looking to hear this soundtrack all over again for the first time, get the vinyl release. It is wonderful, and it's perfectly made, and it's very fitting for fans out there, and it has to be on your shelf. So there you have it, folks. Enough gushing about this. I thank you for watching. Please check out our other stuff on our Patreon and bells and whistles here. Subscribe. Thank you so much. We got 2 more on our vinyl countdown. Hope you stick around for those, because I got a very special one for the end of the year that you're not going to want to miss. That also involves an Arnold Schwarzenegger film. So until next time, folks, remember, it's not yours, it's vinylly mine, and I'll catch you on the flip side.